You rocking with your boy TheCzarr, all rights reserved. Now, I wanted to say I thank you for everybody rocking with me, Commenter Nation, everybody that's involved and assisting me with the comments and support. It all helps. Hit that description, show some love, help the channel uplift. Anybody know sponsors, tag them, link them to my videos, send it to them privately in inbox. Just go crazy. Commenter Nation is y'all. The quicker I reach my goal, the quicker I put plans into motion to reach back out to Commenter Nation. That's how this is going to work. It's a pioneering platform for everyone to be involved somehow, some way. And we look to get everyone involved somehow, some way, especially when I begin traveling and doing field research of that sort. That's the whole ideology behind it. Going a lot of places we know other people won't go. Doing a lot of things we know people won't and can't do. And we got to empower the movement, everything we're doing. And you know what it is. It's ordinary people doing extraordinary things. That is the motto of Commenter Nation. So let's get it up. Let's get it hype. And you know what it is. Now we're giving another shout out to a commenter video involving Samantha. See, Samantha reached out to me and we've been talking for a little while. And what's important about commenter Samantha is she actually took it upon herself to make a call to the funeral home where the body was. And she asked a very specific question. As simple as it may seem, it really is on a much larger vision. So what was this question that she asked? If you're asking that, here it is. She asked, do they cover up tattoos on the body when the body's presented in the casket? Now, although this may seem simple, it's actually very important to what we're trying to understand. It's actually very important to what the overall mission is. Now, the reason I tell you that is for a simple factor, that when we're looking at bodies, there were a ton of people who were hitting me up saying, look, it didn't look right. It looked like tattoos were missing on the body. And I was very curious myself, but I didn't give it much thought. But being she reached back out and hit me up and started doing her field research to assist in what it is I do, she helped me to realize something, that if they claim that they're not involved in this business of covering up tattoos, could it have been possible that the situation didn't revert back to the second video I did where I told people that this seemed synonymous to what Tupac was doing? So the whole Machiavelli mindset. Not that we're talking about music, not that we're talking about any type of production, not that we're even talking about a legacy. What we're talking about right here is literally who was it if it was not who we thought it was. And you see, the thing I like about Commenter Nation is the critical thinking, the way we move together, the way we develop information and how we take things into consideration. That's very important. That's very meaningful. And that's ultimately what we look to do. We look to take things into comprehension and try to understand what's done. Now, sometimes you may see my videos may have me a little hype and move in with a little energy. That's honestly because sometimes I get calls during the middle and I am going to start blocking numbers because I don't want all these calls from certain people. So if they're going to do those things and they're not going to text me and be courteous, especially if you're a professional, then I got to start blocking your number. That's just what it is. And the people who really rock with me already know that. So I'm not worried about that. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is move to a synonymous goal. Now, something else I talked about with another Twitter commenter was about finding an answer, finding an ultimate understanding. To be real, to say you have an ultimate understanding when the case is not done is nonsense. Because you can say, someone can tell you from the inside what it is and have told you that just to make sure you don't find out what it is. That's the difference between critical thinking and just accepting what you're told. And that's why I respect their opinion. I respect what they say, but I still move with Commenter Nation because we look at things as they happen. That is why the proof and evidence of what we speak on is so powerful. That's why the viewpoints we give have power behind it and are no simple matter. Now, I'm very grateful for the commenters that are doing research behind the scenes and putting it out there so that everyone can see. And I'm still looking over different comments that I've gotten a few weeks ago to even yesterday. And I'm making sure that they make sense with the overall view of what it is that we're trying to accomplish. That's the difference between Commenter Nation and a lot of other YouTubers who do their research on the side, as I have people on the side that I speak to, but they don't really listen to the comments that are being put below. They just run with what they think is feasible and they make that the narrative. But See, the narrative always changes when you take everyone else's perspective into intake. That is why objectivism is so important. One of the features that I learned from Star Terrain. Objectivism helps you to not only develop a perspective, but to learn to reach out to other parties that are of importance. If I just listen to this type of professional because they worked in the industry, that doesn't mean that they're right. What if I turned out to be wrong, but I looked over here and the librarian had more knowledge from learning things about the human body versus what the medic knew? You see, it can get complicated that way. That is why I work in a specific way and encourage you guys to do so too. Critical thinking is one of the most important factors that an individual can have that's on their side. We don't think critically in this day and age. A lot of us accept what we hear. That is because the working man is too overbearing by the reality to lift himself up to think. I can say that by being one myself. But you have to build your mind so you're able to pull it away from that type of drama, and you're able to build your own perspective, your own castle, and see the bigger picture. Again, that is why I told everyone, if you know sponsors, you know anything, know other people, even you have a local business where you're creating profit off of building headphones, hit me up, let me know, and I'll put that into perspective, and I'll try to wear your headphones in this showing so that not only can I show it to Commenter Nation, but we can build a basis for you to have business working with a community that you're linked to. That's what it's about, building a community, building something that can grow bigger, building something that reaches further than what's in front of us. If we cannot do this, then teamwork has to be accepted in order to see the bigger picture. If you can't realize that doing it on your own sometimes does not work to the good of the bigger picture, then you're going to allow your pride to have you falling. Now, even if you're a very large YouTuber, you still gain your support from what? The viewers, from the amount of viewers. So you can have 2 million, 3 million people. But how well do you know your 2 million, 3 million people? Do you know if they're women or female? Do you understand what they do, professions, age ranges? You have to have an understanding of all of this in order to build a foundation to have a true empire. And that's the problem with most large people. They don't look to build an empire. They enjoy the financial gain for the moment. You see, the reason I run part of my model from what I do, YouTube limits a lot of things that I do. For instance, when I did this S-Kid video, well, we both know that it's Soldier Kids. The moment it went up, it became limited. The very moment I put it up, limited monetization on it. Now, I don't have an answer for why. I mean, I have my theories for why, but it came up limited right away. I mean, not one view because it wasn't done downloading, and it already was limited monetization. So that's just giving you an idea of the types of things I deal with as a YouTuber. So I'm unable to do different things where I'm large enough to put limited monetized videos up and still be in the graces of YouTube. That is why I built the model the way I did, so that I'm still able to have time to do this content, do the research and things. So I'm still able to deliver the quality and content without cutting corners. Because as critical thinkers, there's times you're going to say and think a way that no one else is, or deliver things that others may not like. But at the end of the day, it's still building towards a truth, because we're remaining objective with it. We're giving ideology out there, the could-be's, the would-be's, the should-be's, the how could, the maybes. Because if no one thinks this way and we all assume one truth, that's when everybody's a lie. That's when you're made into a lie. That's when everything about you becomes a lie, because you built your truth off of someone else's understanding. You see the difference? Hopefully you get where I'm coming from, because that's what it took time for me to understand. That's where I would say my challenges came in, but ultimately building my mind further and researching and studying has allowed me to break barriers inside not only my mentality, but around me, and to do different things that others would not do because they care about what others think. But see, I'm a little different. I never care what anyone else thought unless they were an employer, but that's the work world. The only other side of that would be me caring what my family thinks, what other people think. But you're supposed to take everybody's opinion and criticism with a grain of salt to how you can better yourself, because no one can live out your life for you or accomplish for you. They're only there to watch, speculate, take a shot, or try to uplift you when they feel it's within the praises to do so. But that's not the praise that I look for. And that's why I made Commenter Nation, because we're all unapologetically us. We don't apologize for thinking outside the box or believing certain things. We just give our opinion, throw it out there, or we give some investigative ideology to someone else's opinion. We don't slander each other because we think a certain way. We just give an alternative thought, and that may help a person to think differently. That is why we are going to be a superior group of people. That is why we are going to stand amongst everyone who was naysayers. And that's how I built this YouTube. I didn't build it and had everyone supporting me. I had to build my support from the ground. That's the difference between me and a lot of other people who say they were connected. But I did learn from greats that worked in the business a long time and that chose to believe in me. It was just a few. It was just a few. Namely, the person that I learned objectivism from. And I'm very grateful for that. But ultimately, shout out to commenter Samantha. She's going to ask more questions and find out more details, and then we're going to go from there. But they don't cover up tattoos, do they, Samantha? So what does that mean they did? What does that mean they did? So how did he look different, if that was the case, when people went to the funeral? How is that possible? Well, I guess we'll find out. Shout the commenter Samantha on the job, contacting direct spots where the body was. That's crucial, and that's critical to the viewpoint we have. Again, everybody give a shout out to Samantha. You'll see her in the comments. Give her some respect. And you know who I am. You know how I rock. All rights reserved.